Hello my friends, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video, slightly delayed, but here we are with the best beauty products of 2021. So it's funny because looking back, I'm like, there weren't a whole lot of releases, but then you start picking things out that were the cream of the crop and you're like, wow, this is a lot of stuff. So we've got some things over the whole like complexion, lips, body, all of that good stuff. This is not going to include eyeshadow palettes because I have already posted a dedicated video for that, but we've got a lot of incredible products to talk about. So if any of that interests you, if you're interested in seeing which products worked so incredibly well for me, what I thought was the best of all releases, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to somewhat go in an organized manner on this instead of like throwing stuff out there randomly to you. But let's go ahead and start with body products. Both of them are Sol de Janeiro, and wow, they hit it out of the park this year. Two of my very favorite fragrances by the brand ever. So the first one is the Bom Dia Bright Cream. This is everything and more. I can't even tell you what it smells like because it is just so amazing. It's not, how can I put it to you? It's like fruity floral, but it's just, and it's got a hint of musk that is absolutely wonderful. So I am about halfway done. I picked this one up during the spring sale and it is just absolutely incredible. What I do when we travel, like when we go to Disney, is I throw some of this in like a little squeezy tube and I take it with me just because I love how it smells. It lingers, and you know how they say, and it's true, scents will trigger memories. I like associating this with great memories at Disney. So incredible. If you have not checked it out, you know, they sell the little small ones. Highly, highly recommend. The other one is funny because I feel like this was kind of hit or miss for people. And this is my favorite scent by the brand. It is the Sol de Janeiro in collaboration with Anitta. And I feel like it's got a number. You know how they have like a 72 or a 41, and I can't find the number, but it is passion fruit nectar and pink patchouli. And this smells, the funny thing is it smells like pineapple. And I feel like that's why it turned a lot of people off. I feel like, I don't know what people were associating it with, but this is absolutely hands down my most favorite scent by the brand. It's fresh. It's very, very summery. So it's not something that I would use during the fall/winter. I use the heavier original scent for that. But this is everything. And I just hope that, I feel like this was going to be limited edition. I may be totally wrong on that. But if not, and you haven't smelled it, you kind of need to, because it's just, especially if you love a good pineapple scent. Okay, let's move into makeup. Now, a ton of this is going to be complexion products. Like I said, I already did a dedicated video on eyeshadow palettes, so we will leave those out of this because you guys know I can talk your ear off about eyeshadow palettes. So let's go into Glowish by Huda Beauty. So this is the first of her products that she launched. It's the Multidew Skin Tint. This, I feel like, also a ton of people, I go against the grain. If you're new to my channel, things that people love, I tend to just not find a lot of times I'm like, I don't see it. And then things that people dislike, I'm like, wow, this is the best thing ever. So if you are like me, then maybe a lot of this, or what I love that people hated, maybe is right up your alley. I don't know. But this is the skin tint that has a super dewy finish, but that's right up my alley. I love something that's going to give dew. I love looking like a glazed donut. I know that's not a lot of people's cup of tea, but this is perfect for wearing on its own for that super luminous glazed donut look, or mixing in with foundation or another skin tint to help achieve a more brightened, glowy look. So either way, and I've tried it both ways, I love it both ways. Mine is in the shade 02 Fair Light, which is actually quite perfect for my skin tone. I'm a light to light medium skin tone, and I find that this shade really just kind of adapts to my skin tone. The next one's a little too deep for me, which I think is just the light. So this product is incredible, but again, it's not for everybody. It's kind of one of those things where you have to like a very glowy type of look. And that, again, that's right up my alley. Oh, so good. I am just over the moon that she came out with this product during 2021. And I hope to see more by the brand. I know she's released blushes and all that kind of stuff. So definitely the best, at least according to Michelle. Okay, let's go into a couple of, what do we want to do next? Okay, let's go into a brow product. So this is the Anastasia Brow Freeze. I think this was released at the very beginning of 2021. Now, I have always said that this one is second to my Patrick Ta Major Brow, and that is still the case only because that one has more hold. That one I can like literally lock and load my brows and they're not moving. This one's a little bit different. If my brows get a little too long, right now they're trimmed down. If they're a little too long, it's not gonna hold them. They'll still sag down. But if they are trimmed like the way they are now, then it does a good job of giving them some texture and somewhat holding them in place. Now, what I love about this is the convenience, because I can still get that textured brow freeze type of look, but without the step of adding the water like you have to do with the Patrick Ta. So that for me is huge, because there's a lot of times where I'm in a hurry and I still want that laminated brow type of look, but I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I gotta spray the water, which may not seem like a big deal, and it isn't, but in the major overall scheme of things, when you're in a hurry, you're looking to eliminate even the smallest steps. And this is perfect. So again, when I've got trimmed brows, which sometimes I let them go out of hand and they start getting longer, and I have to, if I want the textured brow look, I have to go with Patrick Ta. But this is just for the ease. It's so easy to work with, and you know, it really does the job, and I love this product so much. As soon as this is out, I will be purchasing another, which I did with the Patrick Ta as well. I have a backup of that too. So what do we want to move into next? Let's go into a foundation. This is the only foundation that I found to be super stellar for the year 2021. I was about to say 2020. But again, you have to like this type of finish. And you know, I have a lot of matte girls out there, so this is not that. This is the Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring Glow Foundation. This product is so incredible. It's what I'm wearing today, and I am wearing the brow freeze today, if I didn't mention that. So this foundation is very glowy, dewy, radiant. It's not going to give you that matte put in place type of look. This is very much the hydrated skincare type of foundation. I will say, for being such an expensive foundation, you kind of don't expect that to happen, but that's okay. We've been working with it. It smells really good. It has a light scent, so if you're sensitive to scents, then, you know, just know it has a scent. This particular one is in the shade, let's see, N250, which I think is the light medium neutral. Don't quote me on that. It might be the light neutral. It is so creamy, and it is one of those foundation that has skin loving ingredients, skincare ingredients. So it makes it feel a little bit more like on the cream side, but it is so beautiful. It goes on so nicely, and it really does, for being a dewy foundation, it covers so nicely. A lot of times your matte foundations are going to do more of that, give you that airbrush look, just kind of that smoothing, that coverage. And dewy foundations a lot of times will accentuate your pores right here, and I really don't have that issue. So just all in all, was an amazing foundation. I love the finish. I love that I'm still loving it even after, you know, this 2021 has come and gone. And for me, that also is what determines whether a product is amazing or not. Like, you could love it for like the first month and then be like, you know what, I think I'm over this, I'm gonna move on. But to love something the entire year, or from the time it comes out to, you know, now, is pretty great. So let's move into a couple of powders. So there are two powders that I'm going to talk about. One is I feel like it didn't get a lot of love, and I don't know if it's just because Urban Decay is a brand that, at least for me, is kind of, it's not what it used to be. And everything has its season. Every brand, every store, you know, it has its peak, and then it's kind of like, you know, then something steps in to take over. And I feel like Urban Decay is one of those brands. I used to, back in the day, that was the brand, that and Too Faced are the brands I started out with in high school. And Urban Decay was becoming and became basically the top of the line, go-to, sought after brand at Sephora. But anyways, that's a totally different topic in itself. So this is the Urban Decay All Nighter Translucent Setting Powder, which again, you didn't hear a whole lot of people talk about it over the course of last year. This is a very matte setting powder. So I'll say that because I've told y'all that that isn't my preference. But there is something to this powder that just smooths and gives such a beautiful airbrush look, just smooth. I don't know how else to describe it to you. It's very easy to work with. It doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look ashy. It doesn't look powdery. This is what the sifter looks like. So you've got the little stopper thingy and, you know, open it up and there you've got the powder. So there is only one shade in this. And I don't even know if this is worth it to give you like a swatch because you're not gonna be able to see it, but this is where I put it right here. It's just so soft, like soft feeling on the skin. Again, it doesn't feel or look dry, which a lot of matte powders do. My favorite is the Huda Beauty, and that is a mattifying powder, and I love that too. This doesn't replace that, but honestly, this is incredible and it does help my makeup stay. So this was a really great powder release for the year. Now, the other one released like 3 days before year end, but because it technically is in 2021, I have to share it. And you're gonna see an overlap because here soon I'm gonna do a current beauty favorites. But you guys, the Rare Beauty setting powder, now if you've already watched my video on reviewing this product, you know that I picked up the light medium. I have since exchanged it just because I was finding that it was a little too deep and I just was like, I don't feel like I'm achieving this powder's full potential. So I did exchange it and it was earth-shattering to me. This powder, you guys, if you can get it in the right color, don't do what I did and get the wrong color off the bat. What? I think this is going to take my #1 spot over my Huda powder, which has been my go-to favorite. And I don't know, maybe this would tie for that. I love that powder so much. But this does exactly what that one does, which gives me the airbrush look. I can use it under my eyes, which with the light medium, I could not. I can use it under my eyes. It just looks so flawless on my skin. But the difference between this one and the Huda is that one's mattifying. This one is not. It gives me a very radiant, healthy look to my skin, which this is, and I forget what it's called. It's not even on the back of this anymore, but it's like a radiant setting powder. Not glittery, not sparkly, just radiant. And this is, listen, I'd be here talking to you all day about this powder. So the component is very neat. It's got this little slider thingy that like you just slide it open and then the little, I keep on wanting to say sifter. Is that a sifter if it's not like a little net? Who knows the technical terms to this? I don't know. Anyways, then you just close it back and you are good to go. Easy to travel with. It's super lightweight. I'd be here speaking its praises all day. Okay, what do we want to move into next? I have 4 bronzers, 2 cream, 2 powder. Bronzers just had a good year, let's just say that. So let's start with cream. Again, one that came out like 2-3 days before year end. You guys already know. I told you in this review video that this is probably my favorite cream bronzer of life, and that stands true right now. And granted, again, hasn't had enough love as other products because they've had the year and this one has had like a few weeks, but here we are. This is, now it's like a little chunky stick, and this is the most soft. It's the softest, creamiest, silkiest cream bronzer I have ever felt in my life. It is so easy to apply, to blend. It looks natural. It just looks, and I'm wearing this one today too. It's stunning. It literally just sinks into your skin and you don't have that I'm wearing cream bronzer look on my skin kind of thing. So literally just over the moon for this bronzer. It will be my go-to for 2022. For reference, I am in the shade, or I picked up the shade. I don't know, it's not on here. It's the second one, I think. Soul? Is it Happy Soul? Anyways, it is the neutral tone. Of the lighter ones, there's a cool tone, and then there's a neutral tone. This is the neutral tone. I find that it's slightly yellow. So, but the thing is with cool tones, I find that those are more for contouring on my skin tone. Anyways, I don't care. Amazing, incredible. Okay. The next one is also by Glowish, and it is the Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder. I picked up 02 Medium, which was perfect for me because this is one of those stiffer formulas that you really have to grab a dense brush and kind of dig. This bronzer, for being a powder bronzer, gives my skin such a luminous warmth that is just, it's natural. Again, it's not like I went and put bronzer on my skin. This just kind of makes it look like my skin. It just sinks in. It's very, very buildable. And see, it doesn't look like much. It looks like it kind of just, and that's the medium. It looks like it just kind of sinks into my skin. It's just kind of like my same skin tone, but you build it up a little bit and it, again, it just looks so effortless. It looks like you didn't have to try. This is your skin tone is what it kind of makes it seem like. So hands down, one of the best bronzers of 2021. I have been using that one pretty nonstop. I reach for it very frequently, which always tells me this was a good product. Okay, so Makeup by Mario. That man comes out with some amazing stuff, and the bronzer is no exception. This is the Soft Sculpt Bronzer in light medium, and again, just so easy to use, so effortless. Now, this is a little bit, how can I put it? It's not as sink into the skin as the Huda or the Rare, of course, the Rare being a cream bronzer, but this, for being a powder, is pretty effortless. It is super silky to the touch. It's not dry. It's not like super packed in there that like you're having to really dig. It is so lovely and it just blends out so nicely. It's not one of those that you have to really work at it. That's very pigmented. You don't have to work at it to like, okay, I overdid it. Now I got to correct. Now I got to do this. Now I got to go back and forth. No, it is super easy to work with. Very minimalistic, I guess, but he is a makeup artist and I've come to the conclusion that pretty much anything he comes out with is going to be good. Although I did pick up, if you remember in my last haul, the lip liner and just wasn't a fan. So this though, incredible. And then lastly for bronzer, the Saie Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer. It again, doesn't really get much better than this. This is stellar. And for the price point, I love Saie because they are a relatively decent price point. I think this was $28, but look at the amount of product you get. This is, I mean, am I ever going to go through this much? I already have a video on this product, kind of just going over the details in case you are still in the market for a cream bronzer. Check that one out. But I will tell you that this is a very interesting consistency in that when you take a brush to it or a finger to it, it becomes very creamy and emollient. When you close it up and you leave it, you don't use it for a couple of days, it kind of ends up going back to like a clay type of feel or formula, but then you grab it and you just kind of work with it. And again, it just kind of changes. It's incredible. I don't know how to tell you. And it's almost like a gel type of formula. Now it says cream bronzer. I feel like it almost feels kind of like a gel cream hybrid, and it's again very natural, but Saie, they make those natural kinds of products, and this is just, it's so wonderful. So definitely, did I tell you I got light bronze? It's definitely one of the best. I will continue using it in 2022. I did, for reference, pick up the light medium at the get-go, and I had to exchange it for the light because the light medium was a little too pigmented for my skin tone. Okay, I don't think when I talked about foundation, I didn't talk about concealer, and you may already see this coming, but this is the Anastasia Magic Touch Concealer. Took me a couple of months to get on this bandwagon, but everybody was talking about it, and I was like, all right, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be kind of drying, kind of matte, and it was so surprising because it is high intensity coverage, but it's got a very creamy emollient feel. It doesn't make my under eyes look cakey or gross. The Makeup Forever concealer, I can't remember what that one was called. That one's a little too powdery and matte for my taste. I thought this was gonna be like that. Also, the little applicator is like a curved up, it reminds me of like a little booty, a little booty for your feet. But this is just, It's incredible. I would say this runs a close second to my Pat McGrath. That is still my #1 favorite, but this would run a very close second. I love the formula. I love how it looks under my eyes. Again, it's what I'm wearing today. And it's just easy to blend out without it settling into those fine lines, which I have a few, and some concealers accentuate those lines more than others. This I find to be one of those concealers that kind of, it doesn't accentuate them a whole lot. So that's huge for me. Total win. Again, it's going to get used quite a bit this upcoming year. So let's move into blush because I've got some incredible ones. So let's start off with Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. She released a, what was it, Bougie Rouge collection, and I actually loved quite a bit from that collection. But for me, the standouts were the blush palettes. The formula in these is very flawless. Unlike any blush really I had come across, like just to the point where coworkers, friends, like I've had multiple people say like, what blush are you wearing? Because it looks so good. It almost like livens up your face. It's very airbrush. It's very flawless. And I had noticed that already. So I'm like, wow, the fact that even other people are noticing, that's kind of a big thing. My favorite of the two is the coral orangey one. I love this one, but the other one's amazing too. These formulas are just, I don't know. I remember her saying like she was looking for the top of the line and they were expensive formulas, and I don't remember. Anyways, but maybe part of it is the tone that I love so much, but to be completely honest, I did not expect for these to be such a favorite in my collection, for these to be like such a favorite overall from all my blushes. And these just hit the mark. So if you can still get your hands on these, I would highly, highly recommend, because they are no joke. They do what you want a blush to do. And I have used them so much over the course of 2021. There was no doubt I was putting them in this video. Another blush that you're not going to find this as any surprise if you are a regular on my channel, but the Pat McGrath Divine Blush. What is in this, I don't know. And I feel like some people were actually kind of disappointed with these. And I was like, this is one of the best, if not the best, blush formula I have ever used in my life. They are stunning. I love how they look on my skin, kind of along the lines of the Jaclyn Hill. They're just very airbrushed. They're pigmented without being too overly pigmented to where you're going to overdo it very easily. You can layer. It's just, they're stunning. And I love the fact that she's now doing blush palettes, so that if you had not picked up several from her initial launch, that you can then do the whole palette route and still get them that way. She did a couple for holidays. She did one for the, what is it, Bridgerton collection that she just did. So these are incredible. It's this one right here. Again, just very elegant. I don't know. I feel like I ask myself, what makes a product elegant? Like, what makes me want to say that? And I just don't know. Like, it's something that comes to my mind when I feel like it's flawless, not loud in your face. These are just stunning. And yes, they are a luxury price point, but they are incredible. So the other blush I do want to mention, because these are so good, and I still keep these in the box because they're easier to store this way. It's the Melt Blush Cream Blushlight. I bought 3 this past year, and this particular one is in the shade Honey Thief. I love the color story of these, the color options of these. I love the formula. I love how they just look lovely on the skin. It's like a flush, a healthy flush. They do exactly that. It's like a blush, but it's a blush light because it really does liven up and lighten your face. And they are, oh gosh, they're stunning. Here's Honey Thief. That shade is absolute perfection. Anyways, I hope they do more of these, and maybe in different, you know, now that they did the whole orangey coral story, maybe they'll go on to pinks or something this year. I hope so, because these were just so amazing. And for a cream blush, they just hit the mark for me for 2021. Found myself reaching for them very, very often. And yeah, just the hype was real on those. Okay, we are down to just a couple final products, I think. All right, so One is a face palette that I did not expect to love as much as I did. I bought both the light and the deep, and it is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette for Holiday 2021. These are so good. I feel like I am over the moon for the packaging. I love that they changed it up. Some people found it cheap. I actually really like it. It's hefty, it's weighty. I found the plastic ones to feel more cheap. This is the lighter of the two. I love both of them, and both of them are very suitable for my skin tone. Obviously, with the deeper one, I have to go in with a little bit of a lighter hand, but these are just, they make my skin look flawless. And I know that Hourglass has done these year after year, but for whatever reason, I am so drawn to the ones that they released this past holiday season. So these are, if you can still get your hands on them and you've been on the fence, they're incredible. Now, I do want to say, so here's the blush, the bronzer, and the highlight. The bronzer is new to this palette. The one in the deep palette is a repeat, or is one that they have in their permanent line, which is fine because Hourglass bronzers are honestly one of my very favorite formulas. They are very flattering. They're very natural. They add that light to the skin. But I will tell you, and I love this powder. This is the, I forget what it's called. It's the Infinity powder. A ton of people don't like this because it leaves that sparkly finish to the skin. I don't know if that is even the right term, but I actually have the full size in that because that's how much I like it. I had already had the full size when I got this palette, so just be forewarned about that. But this palette and the deep one, basically this release, amazing for 2021. Lastly, I have only one lip product. Lip products were kind of scarce, I feel like, lip releases for 2021. But this one I have talked about so much at this point on my channel, and you're probably tired of hearing about it. It's the Huda Lip Contour 2.0. Now, I think she already had lip liners, but she kind of reformulated and upgraded in 2021, and oh my gosh. And they are always sold out of either all shades, some shades. They come in and out of stock so often, but for good reason. Now, it is what I'm wearing. This particular one is in the shade Deep Rose. I also have Vivid Pink, and I have Honey Beige, I think, is the other one. And they are just, I like to use them more as an all-over lip color as opposed to a lip liner. They are so creamy, and they are retractable, but they're so creamy that filling in your lips is a breeze. And a lot of times with lip liners, they can tug, they can feel dry, and these are so creamy. It literally feels like a lipstick in a lip liner form. These are everything and more. I have a couple more on my loves list. They are stunning. So this, hands down, hit out of the park for 2021, and I'm not sad that there aren't more, just because this one, you can't beat it. Like, for me, it was the best of the best. I don't think anything else could have beat this lip product for me over the course of 2021. So my friends, with that, we come to the end of today's video. Gosh, that was long. I feel like I can get so chatty, but once you get in the zone and you start talking about makeup, it's like I could chat with you all day long. Alrighty, my friends. Well, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. That helps me so very much. Maybe consider subscribing if you are new. I'd love for you to just hang out here, come back, chat with me again very soon. But before I let you go, I just want to give you a very quick verse of the day to motivate you, encourage you, and to tell you that Jesus loves you. Today's comes from 2 Chronicles 16:9, and it says, "For the eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him." If you don't already know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, I am here to tell you that he is the most amazing thing, better than any makeup product that is so stellar, better than anything in this life. He is so amazing. And a relationship with him just makes life not necessarily easier in that things don't go wrong, but easier in that you have him to help walk you through life's trials. So if you don't already know him, it is my prayer that he would make himself very real to you. Once you walk out your door, you never know if you're coming back, and that's true for all of us. The Bible says that tomorrow is not promised to any of us. So having your forever secured just because you know Jesus, because you have that relationship with him, is an amazing thing. All right, friends. Well, thanks for stopping by. I love each and every one of you very much, but Jesus loves you so much more. I will talk to you in the next video, so take care and have a great rest of your day. See you soon.